The Heinrihiebel Foundation is a political foundation. In Germany, we have different political parties, of course, and each party kind of has a political foundation in their same community. So there's a political foundation for the Conservative Party, there's a political foundation for the Social Democratic Party and for the Green Party, and this is us. But we're independent from each other. We just share the same ideas about how the world should look like or how the economy should work. This is one of my favorite pictures in the history of ever. In this picture you can actually see our namesake, Heinrihiebel. This is this guy with the hat. Heinrihiebel is a very, very famous post-war writer in Germany. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1980 something. Traits why it's a perfect namesake for a green foundation. This group is actually sitting in front of a naval missile base in southern Germany, where the US-American troops put nuclear missiles. And these people are protesting against the weapons in Germany because they all knew about World War II, and it was a big thing in Germany after the Second World War. No one wanted missiles on the ground, especially not nuclear missiles. So a lot of people were demonstrating, and there was a big anti-war movement. And then in the anti-war movement in Germany, in post-war Germany, the anti-war movement kind of melted with the anti-nuclear movement. The picture also shows that people were protesting in peace, and also in this picture you see another pillar of the Green Party, of the Green movement, which is feminism. And this is this person, she's kind of a symbol for this feminist movement too. So who's in the picture? This is Heinrihiebel. This is his wife. This is Petra Kelly. Petra Kelly is also very, you know her? Yeah. Do you know who that is? That's her husband. It's her husband, but and you know what happened, right? Yeah. You know, he was an old veteran, soldier who served for Hitler, yeah? And they got together, and then he shot her in the head and then committed suicide. It's a tragedy. But just, you know, as I said, there are like the 4 pillars of the Green Party. There are also the 4 pillars of the energy transition, which is anti-war, and this can be translated in no war for oil, no war for coal, and no war for gas. Yeah? So that's a geopolitical perspective in this. And the anti-nuclear perspective. The energy in Germany is the transition, the shift away from nuclear energy and fossil fuel energy. And then this moment of democracy, which is expressed in the freedom of speech. So the German energy transition is a revolution coming from the bottom, from the people. Yeah? The corporations, the civic corporations, they make the biggest share of renewable energy capacity. And of course there's also big corporations, energy corporations, that are now getting on the clean energy revolution, but it started with people in their communities. Okay, now this is the personal part of the story. I was born here in Western Germany, and now I live here in Berlin, and this is where we are. Yeah, this is, okay, and whenever I go to visit my parents, and then I go back from where my parents live to Berlin, I go on the train and I see the German energy transition from the window. This is where my parents live. Okay, they don't live in this pit, but it's close. This is, of course, you know what that is? Coal mine. Yeah, that's a lignite mine. So, near Cologne, you will find the biggest lignite region in Europe. You know that Germany is the world champion of soccer? No, it's also the world champion of lignite mining. We are not very proud of this. Some people are. So this is producing coal, energy from coal. It's very dirty. It's devastating the landscape. So this is what I see when I leave my parents' house. So I go on, and then the train takes me through the Ruhrgebiet. Yeah, this is the old industrial region of Germany, and all the big brands like Siemens, Thyssen, Mannesmann, all these old fossil fuel industries have their headquarters there. Also chemical giants like Bayer. Yeah. Go further on the train. So Volkswagen, of course, is also a very traditional German company. Has some problems right now with the Dieselgate scandal.
We know that.
There's again a hard coal plant. Yeah, so Volkswagen has its own hard coal plant because they of course need a lot of energy for the factory. This is in the middle of Germany. This is concerning the German energy transition story. Because, you know, for a long time the German energy transition story was about power production only, about electricity. But now when we talk about energy transition, we say we need energy transition in the power sector, in the mobility sector, and in the heating sector. Because if we look at CO2 emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, of course not the power sector, when you burn coal for electricity, there's a lot of emissions from the power sector, but also when you turn on your oil engine from the car, or when you turn on your heater at home or your air conditioner, they all run on fossil fuels. And a lot of CO2 emissions come from these sectors. So now the German energy transition is really about the power sector, the mobility sector, and the heating and cooling sector. And this is why I included this picture from Volkswagen in this presentation, because of course the automobile industry is key for the energy transition. And all the countries that heavily depend on the automobile industry have big challenges ahead of them. I think South Korea and Hyundai is also a similar situation. Okay, so the next picture is almost home in Germany. So now we leave Western Germany, we leave the old industrial part of Germany, and we come to the land of energy transition with wind energy and biomasses. Of course, biomasses are a controversial issue. This is my last picture. So first I saw the lignite mining, then I saw the industrial region of Ruhrgebiet, then I saw Volkswagen, and now I see the future. So this guy is holding this square, the pack, and is trying to fit it in a round hole. You know, it's really hard. So I think this also illustrates a little bit the challenge of German energy transition, because it's really complex and a lot of different goals. Transition is of course about security of supply. Right now we have a lot of lignite in Germany, but we get all the gas, almost all the gas and all the oil from other states. So if we use the sun, which does shine in Germany, as we all see today, and if we use the wind and the biomass and the hydro in Germany, we're independent of other countries, at least when it comes to the raw material. And we try to solve it with, of course, storage, demand and supply management, and by working more closely with our European partners. Not so easy. Because Germany, you know, when they start with the coal phase out and the nuclear phase out, all member states were like, what? What are you doing there? And now you will import nuclear energy from France? That's great. Yeah, so of course that makes no sense. And also, I mean, for example, when there's a lot of, sometimes we have a lot of energy. We have energy surplus in Germany. And then we don't know where to put it because we don't have storage. So we sell it on the European market. And do you think other countries are happy when they get cheap energy from Germany? Yes or no? No. Right? So operators in Germany actually sell energy for negative prices to Poland, Czech Republic, or the Netherlands, because they're where to put it? Put it in the air? No, to sell it. And then what happens is when you sell energy, for example, to the Netherlands, they will use the cheap energy from Germany, and for example, their gas power plants will not be in operation. But they don't like it because they invested a lot of money in these gas turbines, and then they get coal power from Germany. So it makes totally no sense because, of course, when you burn gas, it's a little bit more climate friendly. A gas turbine is very flexible and expensive. And so the gas operator in the Netherlands invested a lot of money, but he doesn't get a return on invest on his gas because there's a cheap energy from coal or from whatever coming from Germany. So this is really something we have to work on, and it's a big challenge. This is in a while I just wanted to show you this picture. This is a coal excavator. Last summer, more than 2,000 people actually went into the pit mine and squatted the excavators as a sign of protest, because these people, these climate activists, say we have to fight climate change where it starts. And it starts here in Germany in the lignite pit. And this was a very big protest. It was a mass action of civil disobedience, just what Hainlihigebel did actually. But then it was against the war and the nuclear, and now it's against the coal. Because it's really a powerful movement. And it's of course an more extreme or radical movement, so these are the grassroots activists, but then of course there's the organized civil society of Friends of the Earth and Greenpeace and other organizations that promote energy transition and to shift away from coal and nuclear. But these people are really radical, and they go into the mine and they actually use their bodies to save the climate. Okay. Occupation lasted 1 day, but actually there was a week of protest, and there were more actions of civil disobedience conducted throughout the whole week. This is this is actually one of the biggest demonstrations ever taken place in Germany. More like 100,000 people went on the streets around the Angela Merkel's White House, and said we want the German energy transition. We don't want coal and nuclear in the system anymore. And they went on the street, and more than 100,000 people actually marched. They didn't march because the streets were crowded with people. Contract scientific studies and publish scientific studies. For example, what is the effect on energy prices, jobs, and the European market when Germany phases out coal. So this is scientific research, and we're funding it, and we publish scientific research. Think tank function. The second function is we produce a lot of materials like these materials. This is we call this civic education. So we pick up topics like the German energy transition and try to put them in language. We try to put them in language that everyone understands, and then we put a lot of pictures in these publications, and we distribute this to schools or other NGOs. We have websites. One website, the energytransition.org website. It's also we are a platform for networking. So we often invite environmental groups or delegations from abroad and try to set up a dialogue. But we also we don't only talk with green people, of course. Like in June, we will have a conference, and there will also be people from the coal miners union. So, because we are not a political party, so we can talk also to other political parties or political foundations. So we try to have a dialogue or at least some exchange on their views, because of course, especially the coal phase out in Germany is very controversial. It's true that probably 8,000 people will lose their jobs, And you can't say, okay, you will leave your job in the pit mine and then you work on a wind turbine, because a 56-year-old engineer who's worked in the pit mine for his whole life, he will not go on a wind turbine. So it's we really need to think about how can we meet the needs of these people that will be unemployed. Maybe we can give them training according to their needs. Maybe we can compensate them by actually giving them money. So this is something we cannot discuss with ourselves, and we also need to talk to unions and people that actually know a lot about the economy, because I'm equal. I'm economy, and yeah, there's companies and there's money, okay, but I don't know a lot about social politics. So these are the three functions: we think tank, networking, and civic education. This is how we try to contribute to the German energy transition. Luckily, Germany is a member of the European Union, so we are surrounded by other countries that also have power grids. And we are actually looking into this issue more than ever now, and we think, how can we Europeanize the German energy transition, because this of course gives our system and the system of the other countries a lot of flexibility. Supply and demand management and the flexibility and the storage, this can all be managed more easily, technically more easily in a European system. So we should not look at Germany as an island, but as one member of one piece in the European electricity market. Technically it's great, but politically it's a big challenge.